Good morning, Believe Nation. Today's message is train your mind. Over to you, Simon Sinek.
I wake up every morning.
Espresso, keep me going.
Performing under pressure, whether it's me or anybody else, is the same. You know, I have the same pressures as anyone else. There's time, there's performance, there's financial. I mean, there's deadlines. My pressures are not unique. The situations may be different, but everybody has the same kinds of pressures. But what I found, or what I find fascinating, is the interpretation of the stimuli. Let me explain. So I was watching the Olympics, this last Summer Olympics, and I was amazed at how bad the questions were that the reporters would ask all the athletes. And almost always, they asked the same question, whether they were about to compete or after they competed. Were you nervous, right? And to a T, all the athletes went, no, right? And what I realized is it's not that they're not nervous, it's their interpretation of what's happening in their bodies. I mean, what happens when you're nervous, right? Your heart rate starts to go, you sort of get a little tense, you get a little sweaty, right? You have expectation of what's coming, and we interpret that as, I'm nervous. Now, what's the interpretation of excited? Your heart rate starts to go, you're anticipating what's coming, right? You get a little sort of like tense. It's all the same thing. It's the same stimuli, except these athletes, these Olympic quality athletes, have learned to interpret the stimuli that the rest of us would say is nervous as excited. They all say the same thing. No, I'm not nervous. I'm excited. And so I've actually practiced it just to tell myself when I start to get nervous that this is excitement. Yeah. And so I used to speak in front of a large audience, and somebody would say, how do you feel? I used to say, a little nervous. Now when somebody says, how do you feel? I'm like, really excited, actually. And it came from just sort of telling myself, no, this is excitement. And it becomes a little bit automatic later on. But it's kind of a remarkable thing to deal with pressure by interpreting what your body is experiencing as excitement rather than nerves. And it's really kind of effective. It makes you want to rush forwards rather than pull back, and yet it's the same experience.
I love this message, and I'm making a video on how to help other people overcome their limiting personal beliefs. And one of the things that is so important is when you identify a limiting personal belief, like I'm really nervous, or I'm really scared, or I can't provide enough value here. And then in the moment, a lot of times we can figure it out later, like, I didn't do that because I was afraid, or because I was too nervous, or because I was worried about what people would think of me, right? It's the Monday morning quarterback. You realize it later. You can catch it in the moment while it's happening. And then don't take the usual action that you take a different action. Take the best action, take the correct action, take the action that helps you be that best version of yourself, the super version of yourself, instead of you crouching down and being the smaller version of yourself. When you identify what it is that is holding you back, and then make a change in your thought process, it makes a huge difference. So for me, I want to feel like I'm providing value to people. And I would always be afraid that I wouldn't be able to provide value to somebody. And I would secretly hope that people would want to cancel a meeting on me. And that worked for big things, like if I'm going to speak at an international conference and it's televised in front of really important people, I would say yes and then hope that they would, like a week before, I'm thinking, I hope they cancel on me. Really, I'd be like just this internal dialogue in the subconscious, hoping that they would cancel on me because I was really afraid that I wouldn't be able to provide value. And that may make sense because it's a big stage. I may not have done that before. It's in a different country, all these different factors. But it would happen even at the smallest scale. If I'm gonna go meet an entrepreneur, and I would be worried that here's this startup entrepreneur that I'm gonna, is asking me for help, and I'm gonna have coffee with. And I would be worried that I wouldn't be able to provide them with value. And I would secretly hope that they would cancel on me the day of and I could go work on something else. And I would maybe tell myself, I'm busy, I want to work on something else. But really, I was just afraid that I wouldn't be able to provide value. Now, that desire to provide value is really helpful, right? I'm always there early for meetings. I make sure that I'm trying to help them. I over-deliver like crazy, which is great. But the negative side is I might hold myself back from doing something because I'm too afraid that I couldn't provide value. And just reminding myself in the moment that this is what I love doing. Like, why am I holding myself back? This is what I love doing. Is where I get the most energy and excitement and passion from. It's what makes me feel so great, is being able to help entrepreneurs. Why am I so scared in this moment? And once I made that trigger in the moment, I could apply it for all future situations, and now I'm not scared of doing it. I look forward to doing it because I know there's something that's gonna work out and I'm gonna be able to help them with. And so understanding what your limiting personal belief is, whether you care too much about what other people think, whether you're afraid of failing, whether you don't have a lot of confidence, whether you get nervous easily, whether you think your accent is holding you back, whatever it is, whatever that limiting personal belief is, understanding ideally in the moment that you're feeling this way again, this is the same subconscious pattern that you followed, for your entire life, and then making the conscious choice to deviate, to go in a different way, to go in that path that supports you most, to help you be the super version of yourself, that's the game. That makes all the difference. And so stay tuned because my video on that topic is gonna be hopefully pretty exciting for you guys to watch. So the question today is, I'm curious, what's the biggest limiting personal belief that you have that you wanna train your mind around fixing so you don't keep running the same pattern over and over and over again? Leave it in the comments below. I'm gonna join in the discussion. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have an amazing day. I believe in you. I hope you continue to believe in yourself and whatever your one word is. Much love. I'll see you soon.
I wake up every morning.
Espresso, keep me going.